What's going on, everybody? It is Sunday at about 3 o'clock. We slept a little bit late, so we kind of screwed ourselves. But what we're going to be doing today is more Jeep stuff. And I don't know if you guys like the Jeep stuff or hate the Jeep stuff or whatever, but this is going to be one that teaches you guys or shows you guys how to repair cooling fan problems with the 99 to 2004 Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo 6-cylinder or 8-cylinder without the towing package. Now, these things have an electric cooling fan. They got rid of the mechanical cooling fan, put in an electric one. Now, unfortunately, the module that they use to control the electric cooling fan looks like this. It is an electronically controlled relay, which sounds interesting, but mechanical relays can take a lot of abuse, they can take a lot of heat, they can take a lot of stress. These electronic ones are very, very sensitive. So, let's just say, for instance, you're driving down the road, you get a little bit of water coming through the radiator, it lays on the fan starts up and has the added extra weight of the water. It actually stresses the electronic relay because it draws slightly more amperage until it cleans itself off. As your fan gets older, it starts to draw a little bit more what they call inrush current. When the fan first starts up, it'll take about 40 or 45 amps of current to get the fan spinning, and then once it's spinning, it only draws about 16 or 17 amps. Now, this problem was huge with the 99 to 02s because where they put the actual unit, it gets zero airflow, so it heats up and it burns out. Now, you can buy the factory Mopar unit to replace it, which will last you a bit longer than an aftermarket one, but the problem with that is the Mopar unit is over $100. The aftermarket ones are about $50. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to show you where this thing is located first off, because it's a pain in the ass. It actually sits right underneath that headlight. I'll show you a way to cut so you don't have to remove the whole nose of the vehicle to get to it. And then what we're going to do is we're actually going to solve this problem once and for all. We're going to take this sensor and we're actually going to make a heat sink out of this giant chunk of aluminum. Once we make that heat sink, this thing will have all the heat dissipation that it needs and we won't have to worry about blowing it up any longer. So I'm going to set up the GoPro. We're going to get some footage of me tearing this side of the car apart, and then I'll show you guys where this thing is located. So, the part we're looking for is located right underneath here. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to cut a portion of this out so that we can get to the actual unit itself. It saves you from having to take the bumper cover off, the grill out, this whole section out, the other headlight out, and removing this whole thing to get to that one part. You just cut a little hole right about there and we'll be able to get to the part. So here's what we're looking for. That little guy right there with the 2 bolts is what we're going to be replacing. Now, we're going to be building a heat sink for it, so it's actually not going to mount back in the same location. But one of the things that I've noticed, especially with customer vehicles when I replace these, by cutting this little hole in here, it allows air that comes underneath the headlight to go down into the hole and actually cool the part better. So if you guys are doing this on your own and you don't want to make the big heat sink, cut this hole. It allows you to access it, and it also provides fresh air from underneath the headlight into this general pocket that gets no air, so it helps cool the unit a little bit better. So we're going to get that out of there, and then we're going to make sure the connector is okay because those will burn up too. Once we do that, we're going to go and build the heatsink. Alright guys, so here's a little bit of a funny story with this. Now, here's the unit that I just took out. This is actually the 3rd one that I put in this Jeep. Now, what I find funny is that before... Alright, let's backtrack. About 3-4 years ago, I put one in the Jeep. About a year after that, I put another one in. Then I put a 3rd one in not too long before they crashed it. Now, after I put the third one in, I cut a hole in the original grill support for cooling purposes, and they never had a problem with it. They drove it for almost 2 years, or about a year and a half, with that hole and not having an issue with it. Now, what I find funny is the second I replace everything in the front end and I put a new core support in and I don't cut the hole in it, we end up with a failed relay. So yeah, now we're going to go make the heatsink for it. I'll take you guys along with the GoPro again. We'll make the heatsink and we'll bolt everything back in. Alright guys, so now that we have our makeshift heatsink, which is literally nothing more than a solid chunk of aluminum that I had laying around, drilled some holes in it, what we're going to do is we are going to use some of this stuff, which is just your out of focus everyday heatsink compound, heat transfer compound for computers. We're going to put some on here, then we're going to take the sensor and we'll put it on there and we'll bolt it down. And then hopefully we will have a much more reliable sensor with some heat dissipation. Alright, so that's what we did. Right back there, you can see it's got some basic fins in it, nothing crazy. But we're going to let the sensor live back there instead of being trapped underneath here so that this heatsink can now dissipate the heat properly. You get a lot of airflow from around the headlights that'll come in through here, through the fender, through the side, and ultimately cool this. So hopefully now we're going to have tons and tons of trouble-free use. Alright guys, so that was pretty much it. Now all we're going to do is put the headlight back in, we're going to start the truck back up, make sure that we got fan spin when the thing gets to temperature, and we're good. But the main thing is with these, you don't have to do this. You can replace it and just cut that hole and you'll probably be okay for, you know, a year or two or whatever until it goes again. But unfortunately, it's one of the known problems with these 99 to 04s. The 03s and 04s, they actually move the location of the sensor, so it doesn't happen as frequently as it does with the 99 to 02. These were hidden under the headlight, they see a ton of heat, and as the fan starts to wear out and draws more amperage, it ultimately cooks it. So what we're doing on this one is we're literally we built a heatsink for it, we put it on the heatsink, we put it in an area that's going to get cool, so we'll see how long it lasts. But that's how you fix that particular problem. You cut that hole, you replace the unit, and if you're just replacing the unit, you can cut the hole, replace the unit, you'll be good to go. And we have fan spin. So we're good, we fixed it. Now hopefully, I'll let you guys know down the road how long this lasts for. Now normally these only last about 6 months to a year, so it might be a little while, but I'll give you my updates on it. We'll see how long it lasts and how it does, but I really hope you guys learned a little bit of something from this video. If you own one of these Jeeps or you're buying one of these Jeeps, that's one of the things that you need to look out for. Now, these only were an issue if you had the 6-cylinder 4.0 liter or the V8 without a towing package. If you have the towing package on either one of them, they used a hydraulic fan that was controlled by the power steering pump. So Chrysler did some really strange engineering with these things, but that's how to fix that issue. Thanks for watching this video. I appreciate every single one of you guys. I'm so happy you guys are coming back even though I haven't made a video in like a month. Awesome. Hit the like button, subscribe, comment below, let me know what you want to see, let me know what you thought of this video, and hopefully we'll do some more cool ones. Alright guys, have a good night.